Welcome to We Are Not Here to Tick a Box with David Kane and Debbie Hayes. Working Together Part 2. Let's catch up on where we left off in Part 1. Is everybody pulling equal weight? Because again, I've seen so many dysfunctional sales teams where the person who sits at the top of the pile doesn't have to do the cleaning up. Too important for that. Why do I have to do that? I've got customers to phone and this, that, the other, and they get this. Well, hang on a minute. That from a team bonding perspective, that is just like so divisive. But I've seen that time and time again. Equally, I've seen managers over the years again working together talk about totally neg out the vast majority of your sales team. You've got somebody who sells best part of, like, let's say that the average person sells 15 in this particular industry, whatever it is. This person constantly hits 20. Can't remember the last time they hit 15. But we go into the new month giving them a target of 15. Why? But then equally, we give the new starter a target of 15 because that's what we expect from you, a minimum of 15. Well, hang on a minute. No, give them a target of 10 or 5. And actually give your top performer the target of 20 that you know that they're capable of, because actually that might drive them on again to get even better. And now we're working together. Yes, and what we're not actually doing is, think about staff churn. How many people leave positions, not because they don't have the ability, not because we recruited the wrong person, but because we've handled the person incorrectly, because we've set them too high a level of achievement too early, and not challenge those people who have been doing the job for 5 or 10 years to actually perform at the level that they're capable of performing. And the knock-on effect is we've got a revolving chair over there because we don't work together, and we set ourselves up to fail, because the one thing that most departments will always do is set the bar every month. What is it that we're aiming for? What the target? And if those aren't set fairly, if they're not set credibly, that filters into this working together piece, because what you're doing is you're just creating a team that's completely fragmented right from day one.
Fragmented, I like that word. So then you've got to think, well, what's the complete opposite of that? It's being whole, isn't it? The team working as a whole, not all fragmented and pulling apart. It's got to be together, hasn't it?
And again, a lot of the time, you talk about targets and standards. A lot of the time they're set by the leadership team. Would it be a better idea to let the actual team that is going to go out in the trenches and deliver this set it? Because I have a lot of faith in, if you treat people, and I'll be honest with you, those people that I've managed, this is just coming to my head now. Did I do this? No, I don't think I did, actually. Not the way I'm about to explain it. But, for me, being a bit wiser now, 1 year wiser, from a previous episode, if you actually turn around and say, right, how should we carve this up? Let's have a chat about that. I bet you get to the number in a collaborative way with the team far better than actually doing the dictate that this is what we've got to do, because they will have the capacity to do
it. And we all know, don't we, that obviously when people have had that ability to contribute and feel heard, then there's going to be far more buy-in to that anyway, because it's going to feel as though they've been able to, I guess, put their own points of view forward, and share their experiences as to why that is reasonable, not reasonable, and bring all that experience to the table. So I think that goes back to actually working as a team, doesn't it? And working as a whole.
Yeah, and I bet there's a lot of industries out there where, and again, this piece around, well, what are the KPIs that you want to be judged on? I bet there's a lot of organisations who do this really well out there who actually would take it really personally, the revolving chair. They would actually see that as something that is not right in their particular business, that they themselves are contributing to this revolving chair. And actually, staff retention and harmony is something that really matters to them. And they would actually see it as quite a, I don't know, I'm trying to pick my words carefully here, but if they had a high staff turnover, that would affect them both personally and professionally in terms of being able to do the job right. It just plays on the mind because they pride themselves on this unity, on this identity. And, you know, whereas some other organisations, they don't mind the revolving chair. They accept it. It's a revolving chair. That's what it is. And which one are you?
From a reputation point of view, I remember years ago, I'd been made redundant and I was working with a couple of agencies to find another role. And I remember one of the recruitment ladies there saying to me, you need to think about this one though, because they've got a really high churn rate. So question why that is. So, you know, I think good talent then is, you know, are likely, aren't they, to question, well, why has this company got a high churn rate? Is it really going to attract the right people? Probably not.
No. I think, you know, for me, to make this really simple for those who are listening, go and have a look. Go and have a look at your business today and, you know, consider what myself and Debbie have said. Have you got a department that has pretty much underperformed or not met the mark for 3 months or more at a similar level? If the answer to that is yes, right, okay, are we working together? What are we doing around that? Within those teams, are there peaks and troughs in performance within your people? If the answer to that is yes, are we truly working together? These are, you know, some KPIs need to be evaluated to be truly understood. And that is another problem that we have. We have so many now DMS systems that just churn out numbers. What do these numbers actually mean? What do these numbers mean? Are we evaluating them? Are we interpreting them? Are we then taking a fresh look, fresh eyes? There's another episode we did. Are we taking a fresh look at this business and going, right, unless we make fundamental changes, we are going to continue to miss the opportunities that we need to grow. That's what we're going to need to do. And needless to say, if you are finding those things, then, you know, you might want to give me and Debbie a little bit of a nudge, because, you know, again, we always say we'd be happy to help anybody in these areas. We're on board with this stuff, you know. Have a look at it, challenge yourself, because it's better to look and find the things that you don't want to see than to just sit there and allow the status quo to continue.
Yeah, because it's none of this is coming from a place of criticism. It's that sort of compassion and understanding that actually these challenges do exist.
Yeah.
And actually, once you sort of own them and you can see them, you can do something about them. And unfortunately, not identifying these and not looking at them is not going to change anything. So it's there, you know, I guess we raise these issues because we understand that they're very pinnacle and fundamental to things being different. So, yeah, that's, yeah.
Well, I mean,
understand that, isn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, you know, I say this, you know, if I could go back 20 years now and start all over again, I'd be far better than I was. You know, and you know, but sometimes you've got to have lived, and I think that's a great advantage.
Yeah.
You know, we've lived these experiences. We know, you know, it's you know, and a lot of the experiences that, you know, I'm lucky in the fact that, you know, a lot of the things now that I discuss and talk about, they haven't come through, you know, these aren't come through from a textbook. These have come through living them. You know, I've been there, I've actually walked it, and I understand it to the point where, you know, I can quite happily sit here now, because we use this word quite a lot. We're imperfect people. That's what we are. You know, I sit here now. I wasn't a great manager. No. And people might say, no, you know, there'll be some people, you know, ex-colleagues now who might say, you're right, you were, but others will say, no, you were. You know, and that's all about, you know, interpretation and your own personal feelings. But me personally, I was okay. You know, I hit budget. You know, a lot of the things that I was judged on, I did. You know, if you look at those KPIs, you go, yeah, do you know what? Customer satisfaction, he did well. He could develop people. He trained people well. He did this. He did that. He did the other. So, you know, I'm probably being really hard on myself now by saying I wasn't a very good manager, because there was a lot of things that I could look to, or people could look to and say, yeah, you were. But I'm coming from this from a wise mind perspective, because what I will do is I'll sit there now and I'll revisit things and, you know, well, what did I do? But now with a wise mind, what would I have done, and what would those outputs have been? Which at the time when you're on the hamster wheel, you don't do. and again, there's no failure in that. Business is
Yeah.
quick, it's rapid every day. You wake up in the morning, before you know it, you're going back to sleep. But again, think about, unless you're asking the right questions, unless you're looking really within spreadsheets, data, unless you're doing one-to-ones and actually asking colleagues, what do you think? This thirst for information, this thirst for getting better, which I had to a point, but now I've got on steroids. But I had it to a point back then, but now I've got it on steroids, because sometimes it takes life events or whatever for that little button to go, hang on a minute.
Absolutely.
I get it now. This is how you should be able to say, should do it. So yeah, absolutely. Take your point. Anybody who's watching this is thinking, what do they know? You're right. We don't know everything, but we're giving you our authentic view. And there's no doubt, having known Debbie now for the time I have, and I hope it's this is replicated. I know Debbie could help 100%, and I do. So it's one of those. But you've got to be brave enough. Sticking plaster, Debbie over there. Take the sticking plaster off. Let's see what's under it, and let's get on with it.
Yeah. And heal the wound, and let's get moving forward.
Absolutely. So that's working together. We could have probably gone on for ages. I've actually let that one run over. So what we're probably going to do, you already know that, people who are watching it, we've cut this into two. We'll do part 1 and part 2, I think, for working together, because that's gone to 21 minutes. We always like to keep it within 15. So we'll have 2 shorter ones, but we'll do 2 episodes. But we will be back in next week with our next one. So for now, Debbie, that's another week gone.
I know.
We'll see everybody next week.
Bye already.
See you soon.
Bye.
Join us next week for episode 17, Facing Your Fears.